Well, what are the three worst things for the skin? So number one, I've already told you sugar, so I'm not going to elaborate. Can you guess what that is?
Oil?
Yes. We never seem to change our oil. We Indians love. And that is dairy. So, back in the days, अभी तो ये modern word हो गया intermittent fasting. Back in the days, people used to stop eating एक बार, sun sets.
Can you give few example of food habits during periods?
Periods at times you can deviate a little, your metabolism is at a better zone.
Okay.
It's okay to get into your cravings. One of my favorite things is hummus. I think it's excellent.
Oh, he
Love
loves
it.
it.
It's great for having good luscious hair.
Yeah.
It's loaded with nutrients which all require to have good thick dark hair. In order to have good quality hair and avoid premature, your B12 should be 500 to 600, so it should be within optimal level. But can I add one more, which is
Yeah.
my favorite? Like I would say I would rate it the highest,
Okay.
and it's cheap, it's local. Avla, Indian
Oh,
gooseberry.
okay.
It is highest in antioxidants, very high in antioxidants. It is excellent for the gut.
Welcome back to another episode of Raw Reflections. Today we have Neha Sahai, a renowned nutritionist with us, and she believes in order to achieve a healthy hair and a glowing skin is through your gut, a good gut health.
Hi Neha, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward for it.
We are very pleased to have you here. So you are a certified nutritionist. We all know that, but there would be a lot of people in our audience who don't even know who is a nutritionist and why someone should go to a nutritionist. So tell me a little bit about your profession and why someone would choose to go to you, for what reasons.
So most people believe that coming to a nutrition means just to eat less and losing weight, and that she's going to give you a diet that will make your life fully upside down. But that's not the case. A job of a nutritionist is to make sure that you eat right so you can achieve your body goals, and that could be anything. It could be a vanity factor like weight loss, or it could be simply your health. It could be dealing with various comorbidities such as diabetes, blood pressure, obesity, cardiac health issues. Let's not forget India is the largest capital for diabetes currently,
Of course.
as well as non-alcoholic fatty liver. And most cases, it's just not the medicine that's the solution, but also the food that we eat has resulted into all these comorbidities. So coming to a nutritionist means getting healthy and fit in the most easiest way is to eat right.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Actually, don't take it as a strange questions, because even if I tell my mother today that I'm going to a nutritionist, she wouldn't understand. So that's why I asked this question for people who don't know who is a nutritionist. But thank you for answering.
Anytime.
So my acquaintance with this word nutritionist, we go long back when my father he got diagnosed with diabetes. और उस दौरान the only word which was there in the family on both the side is like, तो बहुत ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा अब तो. And that's the first time I heard the word like nutritionist के पास जाओ, वो उनका चार्ट बनाएंगे. The word nutrition got into existence in what to eat right in order to continue the right living, what's the way forward. Now when it comes to gut, हम gut के बारे में बात करते हैं. What exactly is gut? I mean, और ये इसको सही रखना क्यों ज़रूरी होता है?
If you type gut health on the internet, you'll see some thousands of answers and you don't know even which one is genuine. So now I'm going to break down and make it really easy for the audience. Number one is, what is gut? Gut is your small and large intestine together make your gastrointestinal tract. And that is what you call gut. Okay. Now gut health refers to the functioning and well-balanced gastrointestinal tract. It basically refers to a well-functioning digestive system, immune system, and a good gut flora.
Okay.
Now gut problem starts when the bad bacteria exceeds the good gut bacteria. Now our gut has trillions of different type of bacteria, both good and bad. Now when the bad bacteria exceeds, what happens is it starts eating within the mucosal lining of your intestine, creating small holes. Now through these small holes, once it's created, the things that were supposed to leave your body starts to enter, like bacteria, germs, parasites and toxins, and it creates a havoc in your body. Let me give you a simple example of a tea strainer, you know. जब हम लोग चाय बनाते हैं उसमें अदरक, इलायची वो सब जाता है, and you don't want that thing to come inside your tea. That's why we use a strainer. Now imagine वो strainer में holes बड़े हो गए तो वो चाय में आ जाएगा ना, and how will your tea taste? Horrible. Same thing आप gut का ले लीजिए. If these holes become big, things that were supposed to get removed from your stool now enters your bloodstream and it creates a problem, and that's when you start having a gut health issue.
So,
God.
ideally, everybody has a good gut flora, but because of our choices, our lifestyle, we introduce something in our body that affects our good bacteria, and now because of that, the bad bacteria try to they get multiply more, and that's how they start getting into our bloodstream, and then the problem starts. Like we get multiple issues. So you also said like it starts eating up our mucus line. So I know in this today's world of quick commerce, everything is so easy available, packet food is there, round the clock आपको कुछ मंगाना है खा सकते हो. What conspires, like क्या चीज contribute करती है, like what are the major lifestyle that you have saw in your profession that actually contributes into a bad gut eventually?
So before getting into now what causes it, let me explain you what are the initial signs of gut health issues, you know. So you at least know if you have a gut health problem. The word is again very
Yes,
loosely
correct,
used.
correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now when you have gut health issue, it creates multiple issues in your body. Number one, the initial signs, you know, are acidity, you know, perpetual acidity, bloating, constipation,
Oh, yes.
diarrhea, irritable bowel syndromes, flatulence. These are the initial signs of gut health issues. Do you know that 80% of your immunity is in your gut? So if you're someone who's perpetually falling sick, and we blame weather badal gaya, but it's not always the weather. It could simply be as good as your gut, you know. And then if people are, you know, not able to lose weight, you know, it's also a result of gut issue. Poor skin, you know, when you
Yeah.
have bad skin and hair is also a result of gut issue. Now you need to understand this, you know, our skin is an envelope to our body, you know. It is it covers all the internal parts of our body, protects it, you know. It's like a guardian angel.
You said
It's
it
not
so
supposed
rightly,
to
yes.
look perfect, but
Yeah.
we have termed it to look perfect.
Yes.
Its duty is to protect us. But when we start getting boils and acne on our body, those are the initial signs of gut issues.
Okay.
And then you'll be shocked, even anxiety and depression is a result of gut issues.
Okay.
Now, I know you asked me what is the major, one of the few things that can result into gut issues, you know. There are multiple factors that cause gut issues, but I'll tell you one thing, that one single ingredient that can result into acne, hair fall, early wrinkles, change your gut bacteria to bad bacteria, causes skin diseases,
Yes.
inflammation in your body. This one single thing can cause a full havoc in your body. And,
Wow.
and it's nothing else but sugar. A teaspoon of sugar can do this to you.
Okay. So you have given a lot of information here. I want to break down one by one.
Okay.
Now, before that, like I have heard you speaking about gut a lot in your content and previous conversation with different maybe podcast or something. But you know, like for us, I'm sure a lot of us say that, okay, मेरा gut feeling बोल रहा है, or we say, okay, it's my gut feeling, so I'll go with that. So हम लोग emotionally gut feeling को heart के साथ, like gut feeling is something which is coming from our heart.
Yes.
But you said that our gut is the second brain.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would like to know more and dig deep into it.
So what if I told you your entire mood and personality is controlled by the gut? 90% of your serotonin is made in the gut, which keeps you relaxed, happy, calm. 90% is made by your gut and only 10% by your brain. Even neurotransmitters of your brain such as GABA and dopamine, which control your mood, is made by the gut. So today if you're happy or sad, it's most likely because your gut is giving you the answer.
Okay.
Your entire mood, personality, anxiety, depression, happiness, sadness is all connected with your gut. Yes, the brain and gut connection is real. And if there is a faulty gut with bad gut microbe, the chances of you having anxiety, depression, feeling irritable is very high. Think about it sometimes when you eat a large pizza and a Coke, and then you go back home, you feel next morning you wake up bloated. you're not able to go to the loo properly. Think about it. What has caused that? It's the bad food that resulted into bad gut microbe, resulting into you having a horrible day. It's that simple.
So we just say it out of phrase ki gut feelings hai, but it is actually true.
Yes, your gut is your second brain. Inflammation in the gut, or if there's an imbalance in your gut microbiome, you will not be able to make these important neurotransmitters which control your mood.
तो आपने सही कहा बिल्कुल कि गट और ब्रेन लिंक्ड हैं एंड आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. कुछ साल पहले आई वाज ऑन अ मिशन कि मुझे आई हैव टू कट डाउन. आई वाज लाइक 106 kgs and I really need to cut it down, and I stopped my carbs, which was not a good thing. And later I realized I cut down my carbs and I kept only Sundays to have anything I felt like. So that was my binge weekend.
Yes.
Slowly and steadily I started saying that's my cheat day. It happened many times कि मेरा जो cheat day था, cheat meal जो था वो cheat day में बदल गया, और संडे जो था फ्राइडे से चालू होने लग गया. फ्राइडे लाइक इट बिकम्स अ चीट वीकेंड, एंड इट समहाउ हैपेंड कि वो एक वीक में कन्वर्ट हो गया. और मुझे बहुत दिक्कत होती थी वापस से टू कम बैक टू दैट जीरो, लाइक यू हैव टू फोकस अगेन. इफ समबडी गोज ऑन दैट like nutrition, he or she started that journey, but there are occasional lapses that happen, the cheat, the binge eating. What exactly happened? Like, I mean, is it like a real disaster? Because that comes with a lot of resentment, थोड़ा सा
guilt भी होता है,
बहुत ज़्यादा guilty feel होता है, and feels like सब कुछ खत्म हो गया. As a nutritionist, I really wanted to know, when you come across certain situations, how you...
So number one thing is, now I hate this concept of cheat day. The word cheat nikal, the minute you put that word now, we overindulge. I think it's a day. Food is food, yeah. We humans have created this is good food, bad food. Food ही होता है. Sometimes we overindulge, sometimes we indulge less. I think that's a better way to put it than a cheat day. Automatically your brain will look at food differently. One is that. Secondly, this is a very common habit which I see among my clients. Monday to Friday अच्छा खाते हैं, Saturday, Sunday जो मिला सब खाना शुरू कर देते हैं.
अभी भी होता है हमारे.
Lot of people, when they initially join my plan, and I tell them कि stop thinking of food like that. Don't look at it only कि ये cheat meal है. So now I tell my clients एक simple rule follow करो. 80-20 rule. 80% of times you eat clean and 20% you indulge. Don't feel guilty indulging. वो guilt will also cause you to eat more, and you feel, and you go in the vicious cycle. आज किया next day starve करते, दूसरे दिन और खाते हैं. We make our own calorie chart in our brain,
So आप यहाँ बोल रहे हो यहाँ पे जो 20% है, can that 20% be a part of your day? Like 80% तो दिन में अच्छा
how it is, I feel कि जो बोलते हैं ना कि आज हम चाय बिना शक्कर के पीते हैं, हाँ, बट देन दे ईट अ ब्राउनी दैट डे. ओके, सो आई समटाइम्स फील कि वो 1 टीस्पून शुगर डाल दो, वो मन को शांति मिल जाएगी, स्वीटनेस का, अपनी चाय मिल जाएगी विच वी आर यूज्ड टू, and it'll be fine. Do that, but we have our own calorie chart in our head. We'll minus sugar 1 teaspoon, but have a brownie which is full of sugar, full of other unhealthy ingredients. So I always tell clients कि don't go for all this. इससे अच्छा 80-20 rule. And I feel like once you go towards a healthy lifestyle, by nature, when you do that 20%, आपको next day bloating, flatulence, discomfort तो होएगा ही. So by nature, you will make wiser choices. And let's not forget today, I think as humans we have started to overindulge. पहले ना जैसे dessert खाते थे, it was supposed to be 1 teaspoon after meal. That's why it's called a dessert. आज हम लोग खाते एक burger, pizza, उसके बाद पूरा brownie भी अकेले खाते हैं. No more sharing also. This is fully mine. And उसके साथ let's not forget the freaky shakes that we have with it. So we are overeating also. So I think there sometime comes it's good to have a visual of how much you're eating. Maybe a little bit of portion control. It's a good idea. But saying that, I tell my clients, make sure first you drink enough water. We always confuse hunger with thirst. And क्या होता है ना, कभी कभी पानी कम पीते हैं, but we'll eat more. And if you drink 1 glass of water, you'll realize you are not that hungry only in the first place. So this is a very important thing I tell my clients कि पहले पानी पीना शुरू. Secondly, I also tell clients who are into this habit of overindulging, I tell them, plan what you want to eat. Don't go unplanned. कि when you go to a restaurant, because today now restaurants, you know, you go to a Chinese restaurant और Japanese भी मिल रहा है और some of French fries भी मिल रहे हैं, you know, it's become like multi cuisine, you know, now it's no more like you're going to a standalone, everything has everything, avocado toast भी मिलेगा and all of a sudden sushi भी मिलेगा. So I tell them, you know, yeah, I mean it's just anything and everything and it works, you know, for people, the restauranteurs. So I've told my clients, now you think before going, see the menu, so you have a basic idea कि yeah, these are the 3 dishes I'm going to eat, and never go full on empty stomach. थोड़ा खाकर जाओ. Always remember, when you're empty stomach, you never make the right decision. So I always tell my client, जाने से पहले eat a little, you know, you have eaten so many years, it's okay. थोड़ा खाकर जाओगे, you will make wiser decisions in your life. So always don't go fully empty stomach, eat a little, drink a glass of water, sit आराम से, you know, and then decide what you want to eat.
It's interesting क्योंकि हम लोगों ने during the time we were preparing for this podcast, we actually come across similar point that हमारे brain को ये realize होने में 20 मिनट का टाइम लगता है कि actually वो भूखा है या उसको प्यास लग रही है. And by the time वो connection establish होता है, we start eating or we are like all, and also you said about eating at restaurant as a nutritionist, हम दोनों ने conscious choice करी है अपनी life के अंदर कि we eat as much as possible at home. Nutrition for us is like clean food that we prepare at home. As a nutritionist, how you see the food prepared on the nutrition part in the restaurants and with like everything so instant, getting delivered so instantly, do you think they...
Yeah, I just want to add here, like for instance, हम लोग घर पे भी जब like बिरयानी खाने का मन हो गया, हम घर पे ही बनाते हैं with our own ingredients, so that we know like हमारे घर के चीज़ यूज़ हो रहा है. यू नो व्हाट आई मीन, व्हाट ही मीन्स इज़ दैट कि हम घर पे ही चीट भी करना है तो घर पे ही वो सब चीज़ बना लेते हैं. सो आर वी लाइक less guilty or something like that?
So I'll tell you how it is. So the job of a restaurant is to make the food tasty. It's a business. Okay, even if you go to a healthy restaurant, maybe the ingredients are healthy but they're not calorie free, and again the job of a restaurant to make the food indulgent, make it tasty, make it, you know, open your taste buds so you eat more, you know. So their job is not to give you a super healthy meat but a super tasty meat. Okay,
correct.
so you should know the difference. Now at the same time make it cost effective. So you should know that maybe the ingredients used may not be the best quality today, from the oil, from the, you know, today we know about paneer as well, it's become you know, palm oil paneer, so you do not know what you're eating is actually clean food, even though the ingredients sound familiar to you. Now when it comes to your home meal, obviously you do have control on the ingredients. Now it's a whole different topic, your packaged product hai sahi ki nahi, but at least you're trying your best to put the best quality ingredients in your house. And I genuinely believe sometimes if you're one of those people who eat a lot out, घर का खाना जितना simple हो better हो, because anyways you're eating fancy out, and let's face it, today's time we all go out a lot, we all have a high social life. So I feel home food should be what our grandparents ate, simple, easy, dal roti sabji, and trust me, you will glow, shine, and everything of your gut to inflammation in your body will be at a good control level.
So you just spoke about grandma, घर का खाना and all that. Now अभी के टाइम में आई हैव दिस क्वेश्चन, अभी के टाइम में देयर सो मच ऑफ अवेयरनेस ऑन सोशल मीडिया, वी आर सो मच अवेयर, वी स्टडी, वी वॉच पॉडकास्ट, वी आर डूइंग रिसर्च, एवरी इंफॉर्मेशन इज़ अवेलेबल राइट देयर. बट ग्रैंडमा के टाइम में या एंशिएंट टाइम में ब्लोटिंग नहीं होता था उनको, जबकि अवेयरनेस भी नहीं था. अब के टाइम में देयर सो मच ऑफ अवेयरनेस, स्टिल वी हैव you know more issues of gut health and bloating and acidity. Even though we are making like conscious choice of healthy lifestyle, there's so much of, we are obsessed about wellness, we are obsessed about dieting and all of that. So what is going wrong here?
So I'll tell you one thing is, today's time we are living in a world which is very high in pollution. There are a lot of environmental factors also added. It's just not about the food, you know, there's much more level of stress that we have. There's too much social media and Netflix, we're perpetually scrolling, looking, watching, you know, our brain is constantly working, you know. Our stress levels are, as I said, are much higher. We want instant gratification, you know, we get agitated very fast. So that is one aspect that has changed, which results into bloating, acidity, because we are eating food, where are we eating without looking at screen today? How many of us are doing that? Very few are doing that. I see children who are 1 year old are looking at screen in restaurants and eating food. I mean, you're starting the habit from that age. So one factor is that. Secondly, you need to understand our water is full of toxins now. Our food that we used to eat is, genetically modified. The ingredient list have changed, The same apple in the 1950s that had nutrition has dropped down by 60%. 60%, which
That's a
is
big
so
number.
different because your soil is full of fertilizers, pesticides. So today the nutrition in the food has drastically gone down. So what purity of food we got during our grandparents' time, we don't have that, Even a simple thing like when we say हम लोग को अपनी नानी जैसी skin चाहिए या दादी जैसी, you also need to understand it was not only the diet, even the sun ka rays, the UV rays have become stronger today. So there are a lot of multiple factors. You don't look at food alone, but there's multiple broader
Environment
aspects that
factors
have
as well.
resulted into poor digestion, to poor skin, poor hair, dull. There are a lot of factors involved in today's day and age,
For us, like as I shared, like पहले 5 दिन तो we treat our body like temple, और last के 2 दिन it become like an amusement park. But we slowly and steadily started controlling our cheat meals, cheat days. But still, I need to ask, like जो लोग anxiety में eat करते हैं, like they name it like stress eating. Is it because of the gut, or it's the gut that causes that anxiety and stress eating? I'm always, because for me, I personally felt like some days I feel like it, but some days when I'm really like, I think I deserve it, and I start consuming it. So is the stress that eventually lead to a bad gut health, or is a bad gut that causes this kind of reverse
Stress.
behavior?
I'll break this answer in two because both points make sense what you have said, but I'll explain each one. So one is, first, your anxiety will never go if you have a cupcake. It just doesn't go. What it does is it hits the dopamine part of your brain and gives you initial relief, but you're back to your anxiety and then you're on tablets. Now when you eat that cupcake, unfortunately it starts feeding the bad gut bacteria. They multiply, they get happy, अरे आ गया चीनी body में, आ गए refined ingredients.
Yes.
So they increase. So it's like a vicious circle, right? Because you had anxiety and you're programmed to think, we are programmed to think, अगर upset है तो ice cream tub ले लेते. We've seen it in movies, we see it, people doing it, and we are like, chalo, I'll do that. And then we do that. And I'm not talking about only just sugar, but refined carbs, which increase your blood sugar levels. They give you that initial kick, initial relief, and then it crashes and you're back to the same position. So you are feeding your anxiety with wrong food, and the wrong food is going in the gut, and then the gut is multiplying the bad gut bacteria and further increasing your anxiety. So it works both ways. But obviously stress increases cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, and when that stress hormone increases, it does create a imbalance in your gut microbiome,
Okay.
And when that imbalance happens, what you get is something called a leaky gut. Now leaky gut has the same answer to what I had said initially, causes the same gut health. It lets parasites, toxins, viruses, bacteria all enter your bloodstream, which was supposed to get removed from your body, and it starts creating a havoc. So it's a vicious circle, to be honest. Both are somehow going hand in hand.
Alcohol, I know it's not good for the gut, but most of the time I often saw my friends, whenever they are stressed, they categorize the weekend as like, this is a relaxing time. Either they'll have few drinks or they'll go on binge drinking. I know it's not good for gut, but as a nutritionist, if somebody does get involved into drinking over the weekend or any day, is there a fail-safe, like something can be managed, salvage in that situation?
So as per the new studies, there is no turning back with alcohol. Now that single glass of wine that people used to talk about is also no more permitted. Earlier nutrition used to allow a glass or two a day, but now the new studies have said no form of alcohol can reduce any form of anxiety or make you feel better or give you good sleep. It doesn't. That nightcap is a nonsense information. The actual thing is, the minute you have alcohol, it has zero nutrition. It affects your liver, and alcoholic fatty liver is also on the rise among Indians today. It disrupts your gut microbiome again.
Okay.
And so the bottom line is, there is no coming back if you drink. Now, obviously, like I always say, we live in today's world and going through extreme opinions. Though I say alcohol is not good, once in a while if you have a drink, it will not be the end of the world.
Okay.
But the problem with us is we don't have one, we have multiple, and that's when the problem happens. And the worst
Yeah.
problem is then we make it into cocktails with sugar in
Oh,
it.
yes.
Oh,
And then
God.
there's another havoc of bad gut bacteria. And then the morning you're bloated, you have indigestion, or you have not slept well. So alcohol is not the solution again to your anxiety, just like sugar. But you know what is a solution, which is proven by science, is if you exercise, it releases endorphins, you're happy, hormones, you feel good. So maybe going through scientific studies will be a
Yeah.
better idea, but I don't know how many people will choose to exercise.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, a simple walk can reduce anxiety
Yeah.
far more than having a glass of
That's so
alcohol.
true. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so
And
true.
these are with proven studies.
But even if somebody does get involved, let's say he's having a drink or she's having a drink, anything on the nutritional part he or she can do, like just
So
to,
there's no, as I said, there's no shortcut to drinking. But now, if you're planning to drink and do that, so I always suggest my clients in between your drinks at least drink a glass of water with lemon squeezed in it. That will help with to negate a bit of it, not totally. Also, I tell my clients to make a simple probiotic, which is my favorite. You know, I tell my clients to have rice kanji. You know, it's a very easy probiotic. Take your leftover rice, 2 tablespoons. You put it in a clay pot or a steel ka bartan and fill water till the rice gets covered. Leave it overnight covered. Have it in the morning, and that's about it. It's fermented. You can drink the water as well as the rice if you like, and
Okay.
you start
act
having.
as a detox kind of.
It's not a detox, but at least gives you good gut bacteria.
Good
You know,
gut
once you have good gut bacteria, body just functions better. You know, as I said, it controls so many factors in your body, and the entire purpose of us should be for our body to have more good gut bacteria than the bad gut bacteria.
You said about the alcohol is having a lot of sugar in it. We often have this habit of drinking tea and coffee on a regular basis. Personally, मुझे black coffee पसंद है without sugar and milk.
Yeah.
But my mother, she still used to have like 6 or 7 cups of tea. The sugar in the refined form, for the gut, how it is, and
So as you have noticed, our tea and cup का sizes कितने बड़े हो गए. You know,
Yeah.
we had used to have back in the days cutting chai and we were satisfied. 2 cup पिया खुश हो गए. You know, the day is ended. Now we are having double the size
Yes.
of tea coffee from 100 ml, 200, 250 ml. Some of the cups are so big it's larger than our face. And over that we're adding various flavors like hazelnut, caramel. And जैसे sizes बढ़ते गए, the sugar added to the tea has also increased. So now obviously when you're going to have excessive sugar, excessive tea, plus we have so much dairy added to it, it results into harming our gut microbe again. So our bad gut bacteria starts to increase. It starts affecting our gut lining, and that's why you see a lot of people getting acidity, especially if they have tea coffee on empty stomach. You know, they feel heavy. And not only that, then you know, with excessive tea coffee, what happens? Our body gets dehydrated.
Correct.
A lot of people face constipation. A lot of people, because of too much milk in your tea coffee, result into acne and boils in the body. But तो भी we will never cut our tea coffee. You know, we go take 10 medicines, 10 supplements ले लेंगे, कुछ भी ले लेंगे, पर चाय coffee नहीं give up करते. But
Okay.
sometimes it's not even about how much you have. If you can just reduce the size and see if it's still okay for you, then you can continue having. But if it still doesn't suit you, then you can use plant-based milk or shift to herbal teas. You know.
Yeah.
This answer opened, this answered open room for so many questions. The first I have is like on the sugar part. I know white sugar, refined sugar is, but any sugar like jaggery powder or sugar, is it a good replacement
So
for
I
white
would
sugar?
say jaggery is just a sister of sugar. The only it has same amount of calories. A lot of people feel jaggery is calorie free, which it's
Yeah.
not. It creates the same amount of insulin spike in your body. So if you're diabetic, you cannot substitute it with jaggery because the insulin spike is there. What it has different from refined sugar, it has slightly more nutritive value. Like it may have little bit iron, but iron चाहिए to have raisins and
Yes.
dates. You don't have to have jaggery for
Correct,
that.
Correct.
So the key is, I always tell people, is not to substitute sugar, but to reduce the desire of sugar. You know, we reduce one place by removing refined sugar, but then we are adding other forms of
Other
sugar
forms
in excess in our diet, which is pointless.
Correct.
So the key is to reduce the consumption rather than substituting sugar.
Artificial sweeteners.
So artificial sweetener का part है कि there's no long run studies on how it affects the body. It's a very new concept in our world today, you know. Lot of new studies are saying it affects the gut and it changes the gut microbe.
Oh.
So it can exceed the bad gut bacteria. There are a lot of
Okay.
new studies saying that some of the artificial sweeteners are spiking your insulin as well. So honestly, long run studies are not there right now. And I would again say, if you're planning to use, so far stevia and monk fruit are the better options. But again, the point is, just because you can have that doesn't mean you're making a full cake out of it and
Limit
consuming
your
the
intake.
entire cake.
Correct.
Limit.
Yes, but in limitations, it can be consumed.
Sugar variation. We both are fond of fruits in our diet, seasonal fruits.
Yeah.
But and I'll tell you like how we started. We considered fruit juices as best है fruit juices पी लो.
या जल्दी से
But
पियो और बहुत सारा
learnings comes with we realize that
Yeah.
it's not as good as having
As
a whole
good, yeah.
food
Yeah.
a fruit. So now we introduce fruits as a form of sugar in our diet. But my question is, this type of sugar in an empty stomach, or when is the right time to have fruits in your day diet?
So fruit juices though is an absolute no. I think enough people
No.
have knowledge. It has fructose and raises blood sugar, as devoid of fiber,
Yes.
nothing it has. So fruit juice to out of question. Now regarding fruit, my personal belief is it's better to have fruit first half of the day. See, now
First
fruit is something one should not consume. They're very hungry also. It digests very quickly. So if you have a
Okay.
fruit within 30-40 minutes, it's digested and you're hungry again. So a fruit should be had first half of the day. The purpose of fruit is it raises your blood sugar level, especially if you're having high glycemic index fruits such as your mango, banana, and all. Whereas if you have low glycemic index fruits, which are like your berries,
pumpkin.
your guava and papaya, you can still consume it, second half of the day, especially as your pre-workout. It's excellent. 30 minutes before your workout, if you consume a fruit, you get rapid energy to go and do a great workout.
Okay.
So fruit should be consumed first half of the day. It shouldn't be never consumed on empty stomach, because again it will spike your blood sugar levels. It digests very quickly. So people who just have fruit for breakfast, it's not a great idea.
Okay.
I think consuming high glycemic index fruits such as mango, one small fruit or 100 grams first half of the day is more than enough. If you're choosing fruits like berries, you can still have a little bit more than 100 grams, as they're low on glycemic index and will not affect your blood sugar levels drastically. So
Okay.
fruits are nutrient rich. There is no doubt about it. It provides great fiber. It's good for the gut. But again, moderation is the key.
And the ideal time is like somewhere in the afternoon.
So I would say first half of the day would be before 3 p.m. is a
Before
great
3
way
p.m.
to include fruit in your diet, because see, the purpose of food is what? To give us energy. Second half of the day we have to get our body to relax, because we want to sleep. We have to slow down our body. We don't want it to be moving fast. So why consume a fruit second half of the day? We should consume it first half of the day.
So talking about food, you said previously that acidity, like consuming coffee, and if you have acidity, it can cause acne, and skin issues are the first symptoms of bad gut health. So can you elaborate and deep into it, like what can cause acne and how our skin health is related to our gut health? Because see, we both are skin enthusiasts and we love skincare and we love taking care of our hair, and our vast audience is that. So I would like to educate more of our audience about skin gut connection, hair gut connection. So you can elaborate on
And
it.
before you answer, there is I'm sure there is a significant number of audience that are there in their teens, and they're really looking forward for this magic
Yeah.
answer that you have, like किस चीज़ से acne अच्छी skin आ सकती है, and are these stimulants actually eventually contribute to a bad skin or a bad hair? So your answer should be like received in.
So do you want to know 5 quick things that can improve your
Yes.
skin drastically?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just tell you a story a little bit about myself. Like I'm an actress, so I have done like a TV show for Star Plus, and Daily Soap is like the schedule in Daily Soap is very, very, very hectic. You have to shoot for 12 to 15 hours a day, and during that time, I used to drink like every hour like 5 to 6 coffee. So you can count how many hours I'm working, and then I started having like really, like you can see my skin is in a good condition today, but I had like really full face of acne. So I assume that I had a very bad gut health because I couldn't exercise at that point. As you said, exercise is also important. A lot of things adds to your good gut health. So yeah, consuming bad food and continuous coffee, I can figure out these are definitely bad for gut health. But as a nutritionist, can you elaborate more, like how good food, of course, for skin and also bad, and what can cause acne specifically?
I'll make it really simple. What are the 3 worst things for the skin? Because it's easier to add, but it's very difficult to eliminate, right?
Yeah.
Always. So number 1, I've already told you sugar, so I'm not going to elaborate on that. Now number 2 is something that you can eat as healthy as you want. You can eat the best ingredients in the world, but somehow nobody changes this one single ingredient in our diet, and it is used in every meal that we eat. But we always think twice before spending on it to make it cost effective. Can you guess what that is?
Oil?
Yes.
Oh.
We never seem to change our oil.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
we go for the most commercial brand.
Yes.
We can clearly read it's refined. You know, but we will still purchase it because we are like, वो oil तो सब घर पर खाते हैं. You know, our staff is also eating. We are living in a joint family. Why change the oil?
Correct. So correct.
But you will be amazed to know oil is one of the largest causes of inflammation in our body.
Okay.
And that is one of the biggest factors that can cause issue for our skin, hair, as well as our gut.
Wow.
Now, the problem is the vegetable oils. Okay, now these
refined.
vegetable oils are high in omega-6, which causes inflammation. Now, back in the days, the ratio that we're supposed to have of omega-6 versus omega-3 reduces inflammation is 1:1 to 4:1 is the standard ratio. You know
Okay.
what is the ratio almost in our body today? Omega-6 to some people's reports I've seen 20 to 60:1.
What?
Yes,
Wow.
that high is omega-6 in our body over omega-3. So, and one of the biggest causes is because we are using refined vegetable oil, that's sunflower oil, the palm oil, the hydrogenated oil, and this is not only coming because of it comes to people even if they don't, you know, it's not only just home cooked food, but it's also outside packaged products which are full of, you know,
Correct. Palm oil.
palm oil,
Palm
you know, and
oils, yeah.
hydrogenated oil or
Yes.
the lowest quality oil.
Yes, that's
And then we are
okay.
getting similarly cheap quality oil in our house to cook our expensive ingredients which we feel are organic and clean. So the number one thing that we need to change in order to have a healthy body is start changing our oil. And let's go back to our old school filtered cold press oils, you know,
Yes.
and we can stick back to our ghee, which we have forgotten because we think it's fattening, but ghee is very important for our body, you know.
So can you cook with ghee?
Of course,
Okay.
ghee has a very high heating point actually. It's an excellent way to cook. And then we should go for our local oils like sesame oil, mustard oil,
Mustard oil,
coconut oil. These are the oils we need to go for, not these commercial
Refined
brands
oil.
such as, you know, sunflower oil, which is promoted all over, advertised. These are cheap quality oils which we need to remove from our body.
That's India. I think it's the biggest importer of palm oil during
I
our study.
assume, yeah.
Yes, and we consciously, when we decided to switch to the cold press oil, we saw like the difference between a refined oil and a cold press oil. It comes to 100, 150 if you just want to make that switch, and that 1 liter
Yes.
of oil goes.
And the taste,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
smell,
Yeah.
it's totally different, you know. A vegetable oil goes through such high chemical process to make it odorless and tasteless, you know, so that it tastes, you know, so that we can cook in it and we don't get the taste of it, you know.
Correct. Yeah.
But we actually need to change our oil.
Correct.
And that is one thing I feel we need to spend on because hospital bills are far more expensive in the future.
You said it so true.
You know, that this is one of the things. Then second thing is we Indians love, and that is dairy. We
Oh,
are
God.
obsessed with dairy, and if I tell my client no milk, they get a shock because they feel कि हमारे bones कैसे ठीक होंगे, how will our child grow, how will we get our calcium. But when I say dairy, I'm specifically only talking about milk. I am not talking about curd. Now curd is fermented. It has, you know, less inflammatory galactose and lactose, and it has anti-inflammatory and, you know, gut boosting probiotics in it, you know.
Yes.
So because of its fermentation process, it actually helps your gut. It reduces secretion of something called IGF-1, which actually, if secreted more, can result into acne. Now, whereas milk consists of casein and whey, and they both encourage the secretion of IGF-1, which can result into acne. So, you know, that's why I say milk should be avoided, but you can still have curd in your diet and, you know, some amount of cheese. And let's also face it, you know, milk, you know, nowadays it's very difficult to get ethically sourced milk. It is
Yes.
full of antibiotics and hormones.
correct.
And
Yeah.
I think especially women have already enough hormones और extra नहीं डालने अपने body में.
So, like when I had this acne issues previously, I spoke about, I went to my dermatologist, and no wonder she told me to eradicate coffee, sugar, which we already spoke about, and of course, dairy products means milk. And now I'm not a fan of milk, so it was good for me. But for people who are like really fond of milk, as you said, India is obsessed about milk. So, what are the substitutes?
So, I know a lot of people first will say lactose free, but lactose free milk only removes lactose from it, still doesn't remove casein and whey, which actually causes the acne.
Oh.
So, even you cannot choose is what you call lactose free milk. Now, if you love milk and your acne is not reducing, I think it's a choice what you want out of the two. Do you want acne or, eliminate the consumption of milk?
Yeah.
And sometimes, what happens, I feel if you just remove it for a short period of time or for a couple of months, and once you're acne and you reintroduce small amount, it works. It's the excessive consumption also sometimes that causes the acne. Sometimes limited consumption may work for you or may not, it depends. Now there are also a lot of plant-based milks, such as your coconut milk, almond milk, which are great substitutes because they're loaded with nutrients, but they're not the exact substitute when it comes from the nutrition aspect of. The purpose of milk is to give you protein and calcium, whereas almond milk and coconut milk may not have the same amount of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, two questions from it. Supplements, you said, like if someone is feeling कि यार दूध से calcium मिल रहा है, वो नहीं मिलेगा, and they can obviously consume supplements in the form of calcium, magnesium to cover the dietary requirement.
But you have sesame seeds, they're loaded. वो खाना शुरू करिए
Correct.
ना.
I mean,
We just assume milk means calcium.
Calcium,
But there's a
हाँ.
lot of real food also that has calcium. You can substitute. You can have ragi. It has calcium in it. Black and white sesame seeds are very high in calcium. Having a small amount of it in your diet can fulfill your calcium requirement.
It's just like you should have little better knowledge कि calcium के substitutes हैं and you can introduce that in your
exactly.
diet. But when it comes to actually supplements, like me and Devashree, we take supplements, but we always chose convenient over the ideal way of taking a supplement. I saw a lot of your videos. But what we do is like we take the supplement in one go. Even if it's magnesium, it's supposed to be taken like just before sleep, so it will help. But हम आइडियल वे में जब कोशिश करते तो वी मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम वी मिस आउट सो वी ट्राई टू टेक इट लाइक वंस वी हैव अ गुड मील वी विल हैव ऑल आवर ओमेगा कैल्शियम सप्लीमेंट्स इन वन गो इटसेल्फ आर वी डूइंग समथिंग रॉन्ग और is it still okay to have at least a supplement?
So firstly, one should not take supplements on their own. First, see if you require supplements. Today we scroll and we see ये supplement popular हो गया, let's include it in our diet.
Yeah.
But do we really require? Have we done a blood test? Do we even have a deficiency of it? Number one is that. Now, if you do land up taking supplements, one should not take it at one go for sure. Number one thing is, for example, if you take calcium and iron together, they both fight to be absorbed in your body. So one of them will actually not get absorbed and it will actually negate the purpose. Especially iron will not get absorbed if you take it with calcium. So taking all supplements together does not work because they fight for absorption rate in your intestine. So spreading them out helps for better absorption, and certain supplements work better at a certain time. For example, as you said, magnesium. Now if you're taking magnesium glycinate for better sleep, now imagine you take it in the day. What is the purpose of it? It doesn't serve any purpose. So taking magnesium glycinate at night, is better because you will sleep better. It will relax your body. So the purpose is for that, but you're taking it in the morning and imagine feeling sleepy in the afternoon.
So
Pointless.
you're suggesting
then
that
you'll be taking another supplement to stay awake or more caffeine, which is
No, we
useless.
actually both enjoy our afternoon sleep as well. Now I understand why we are getting so after.
yeah, could be the reason.
Yeah.
Because like we take all the supplements together, so
No.
you're
After a
suggesting
heavy
don't
breakfast.
It's a very bad idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please
So we
spread
will
it out.
change it. We'll change
Guilty,
it. There's a lot to
guilty.
take.
Yeah, please
good
spread
thing.
out your supplements.
Yes.
Like example, taking vitamin B supplements
Yeah.
gives you energy. So imagine using it at bedtime. It's pointless.
Yeah, then he has his different supplements. I have my different supplement, like I take Promosa.
Yeah.
And then I have calcium, and what else I have?
Multivitamin referred by her doctor itself.
Yeah.
So she's taking the
Gynecologist,
multivitamins, calcium and iron supplement is also there. But you said like calcium and iron should not be taken together.
Never together.
Yeah.
There should at least be a minimum 12 hours gap.
So she takes it, but I will distance.
He's
Yeah,
the one.
please do that.
But
yeah.
Thank you.
Other thing is like about the buttermilk thing.
Yeah, prebiotics and probiotics. Yeah.
हमेशा सुना है खाने के पहले पानी नहीं, खाने के बाद पानी नहीं पीना चाहिए, इट विल डाइल्यूट योर डाइजेस्टिव जूसेस. पहले पी लो, आपका भूख थोड़ा सा कंट्रोल में आ जाएगा. बट हैविंग बटर मिल्क आफ्टर a good meal, will it still dilute your digestive
So
juices?
I tell clients not to drink liquids very quickly post a meal. Just wait for 20-25 minutes, you know. हम लोग को सब कुछ 1 मिनट में ही खत्म करना है. Problem
हाँ,
is that.
सब खत्म करके
No, just
बस-
wait for 15-20 minutes. You feel better, you'll feel lighter, and it'll work better for your system.
But
So,
does it dilute your digestive juices?
so you know, it's more about it affects your entire digestion only. Like the minute you drink water, immediately post it, you'll see all of a sudden you get bloated and feel heavy.
That's true.
You have it after 30 minutes, you will definitely feel better. You know, so it's always better to consume any form of liquid, not with your meal. I'm talking from the point, not soup, but I'm talking about like water and buttermilk. It's better 30 minutes before or after your meal.
Best time to best time to have curd one, like
Yeah,
is it
one.
like afternoon or should be like during the hours when the sun is up?
So you know this. So as per a lot of people, if you have curd at night, it gives you a cold. So it's not actually true. It only affects certain people, especially if you have asthma. So if it affects you, then don't have curd at night. And especially our curd is in the fridge. If you have home set curd at room temperature, chances of giving you a cold at night is slim. But depends how your entire day goes, how your diet is throughout the day, and a lot of people are just having 1 or 2 meals today. So if you're doing that way, you're following some sort of intermittent fasting, or you're eating fewer meals, then you may require to add curd at dinner if you want to bring in the required probiotics in your diet.
Yeah. So I was just coming to this point. Only you, thank God, you mentioned that intermittent fasting. Now fasting. So we do a lot of we spoke a lot about nutrition. We spoke a lot about food, what to take, what not to take. What about resting your gut? So is it good to give a good rest or do fasting?
So back in the days, अभी तो ये modern word हो गया intermittent fasting. Back in the days, people used to stop eating एक बार sun sets, and then we used to eat after which would be around 6 p.m. I'm assuming 6 to 6:30 p.m. And then we used to wake up in the morning, do our morning chores. We didn't have 10 staff members. We didn't have Swiggy to get our food, nothing. We did everything, and then we ate our first meal, which was automatically giving you a 12 to 14 hours
of
gap. It gave our digestion a break.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you give your digestion a break, your gut lining repairs.
Yeah.
Imagine if you have a wound and you keep scratching it, Rose. Will it heal?
Yes.
No.
But if you let the wound stay for a couple of hours, overnight, you see a morning a thin layer comes on it. It heals it. The same thing is with your gut. Your gut resets if you give it a break. Because today we have reached a point as we finished dinner at 8, we are watching Netflix till 2, उसके बीच में popcorn भी खा रहे हैं. Then we somehow wake up in the morning, we all have to go to work. सुबह चाय पीना शुरू कर दिया. So we are doing everything more to ruin our gut than to improve it. Now intermittent fasting is a beautiful thing to do because firstly you need to understand what intermittent fasting is. Intermittent fasting does not tell you what to eat. It tells you how long to fast.
Correct.
Okay, so it gives you a window, an eating window, and usually most people follow 16 to 8, which is 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours window to eat. This is the easiest way to start with. People from 12 hours, I tell clients make it 14 hours and 16 hours if need be. It's not a necessity to do intermittent fasting. Let me make this clear. Some people work better with intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
And intermittent fasting also does one very good thing called autophagy, where it clears out your damaged cells and helps new cells form, which also works for your gut as well as your skin. Because
So-
new cells are repaired
So you mean it
and damaged
helps
cells
to,
are removed.
So you mean it helps to it kind of helps in anti-aging?
You can say yes, because it helps to remove the damaged cells, it helps to repair the cells and gives opportunity for new cells to get formed. So it works in a beautiful way, intermittent fasting, if it's done correctly. It's very important how intermittent fasting is done. Most people abuse it and do not use it the right way. I know clients who are fasting for 18 hours and then eating a burger, and the main goal is we are looking thin. But life is just not about your size.
Size,
Correct.
exactly.
It's beyond that. It's how you feel, your health, your overall, outlook towards life
Correct.
is far more important, just the vanity aspect only.
So what's the correct way of fasting? Just simplify it.
So it depends from person to person. As I said, 16 to 8 is the easiest way to start with, is the easiest way to work around with, is the easiest way to plan a diet. Now, the real key is how do you break your intermittent fasting is the key. if you're going to break having an ice cream, it will raise your blood sugar levels, and it'll create a havoc on the body. I already said when your blood sugar levels rises, more insulin is released, your pancreas is working more, and it will actually cause something called glycation in your body, which results into faster aging, wrinkles, because it reduces the production of collagen. So glycation is very important, should not take place in your body, and that usually happens with fluctuating blood sugar levels. So whenever you break your intermittent fasting, it's very important you break it with something called fat first. What does that mean? Either with nuts, seeds, coconut oil, ghee, it could be
Avocado.
coconut chunks, avocado, anything which has fat. Now why
Fats.
that? When you have anything which is high in fat, it stabilizes your blood sugar levels. Not with that honey water with lemon, because that will spike your insulin. What we want is a stable insulin rise. The more stable the blood sugar levels are, the lower carb craving you have throughout the day. Yeah.
So the reason
He
why
does.
she's,
He does that.
so why she was pointing towards me is like not when I break my fast, I do water fasting, and in a go I'll do it for 36 hours of water fasting.
Wow.
I can have any amount of water, but I feel like it cleanses my body. I feel good. The skin overall, you said like
Yeah.
about the skin cell renewal, the repair. I feel it much better.
And that's why you're glowing, huh?
Yes, thank you. So now the thing is, when I break the fast, that I don't do anything fancy. I include protein, a good fat, and fiber. That's what the three things. But on the day of fasting, when I'm breaking my fast, I don't consume the lemon and the honey water. But coming to that, since you mentioned it, I take this concussion every morning from last 15 years, and I use raw honey, organic honey. I'll add a little cinnamon powder to it, apple cider vinegar, and a lemon, a full lemon, and I'll have it in lukewarm. That's my way of starting my day every day, and I slowly introduced her to have just the raw honey with lukewarm water, but no lemon, because she can't tolerate lemon.
Yeah, lemon must be causing acidity.
Yeah,
But
I
for
have
me
this
personally, it worked out well. But where I'm coming is like this concussion having first thing in the morning. I know that you have spoken about having the jeera water and that
Kanchi.
work with you. You also mentioned that you actually try and take it if you have a bloating issue, and
Yeah.
you suggest it. So for me, that concussion actually worked. But there is a lot of backlash from her, like lemon सुबह सुबह नहीं खाना चाहिए. ACV say your enamel will be disrupted.
So I would agree partially with her as well. The thing is, some people, when they have lemon water and apple cider vinegar, it works reverse. It can cause acidity. If you already have existing acidity, okay?
Okay.
If you don't have that issue, then it's okay. You can break it, but yes, it's better to have it with a straw. That
Straw.
is my advice to you if you're
Okay.
planning to
Straw,
go ahead with
okay.
it. Have it with a straw so it does not ruin your teeth. And
So you
secondly,
mean it does?
it does affect
Does.
the tooth enamel.
Enamel.
So it's important that you have it with a straw in a tall glass of water. It has to be diluted, as you know, apple cider vinegar. But because you are having cinnamon, which stabilizes blood sugar levels, apple cider vinegar stabilizes blood sugar level, and then you're adding a little bit of honey, then kind of negates, they always say when you have anything which has carbs in it, carbs and sugar in it, you should coat it with other things, put clothes on your carbs. That's what they
Okay.
say. That means that whenever you have anything which is high in carbs, you either add a lot of vegetables to it, you add little fats to it and protein to it, so the blood sugar spike is lowered. So that's what exactly you have done. You have put clothes on your carbs, and
Correct.
that's totally okay. Then it's okay to break your fast that way. So coming back to intermittent fasting, as we were talking, it does help the gut, it does help the skin, but it's very important what you eat during your intermittent open window.
Okay.
I see a lot of people, as I said, eat junk, and that causes a havoc in the body, and that leads to nutritional deficiencies. So it's not like intermittent fasting does not have side effects. See, when people who initially start are quite irritable, they are quite hungry, they have mood swings, because body takes time to adjust. People are used to
Yeah.
munching on food throughout the day. All of a sudden to remove 16, 18 hours of food is not easy for them.
Also
Give them
headache,
headaches. Yeah, which is going to come
yeah.
to you, headaches.
And dehydration.
Then the other problem with intermittent fasting is the nutritional deficiency. So what happens, for example, a person needs 1500 calories or 1800 calories in a day, and you're fasted for 19 hours. You hardly have 4 to 5 hours to eat, and you may not be able to get in the required nutrition and calories. So what happens to those people? They may, from vanity aspect, look thin, but you'll see eventually their skin starts becoming dull, their hair starts to fall, they keep falling sick. So that initial happiness that you felt when intermittent fasting may not exist if you do not know how to balance your meals during the open window.
Correct.
Secondly, I've noticed a lot of people, it may not work for some psychologically. They keep looking at the clock. I'm hungry, but 3 नहीं बजा अभी तक. हाँ 4 बज गया, चलो खाना बंद कर.
मेरे साथ होता
So
है.
if you're going through that, if it's not, your hormones are not falling in place, leptin and ghrelin, which control your hunger hormone and
Correct.
keeps you full and hungry, if they're not settling, that means it may not suit you. And I see this a lot in women, because women are controlled more with hormones than men, and sometimes intermittent fasting may be a backlash for them rather than benefiting them.
Yes, she often feels she most of the days she has headache because the day after the fasting, because maybe she don't hydrate herself enough and she's like
Yeah,
thoda
even
dehydrated.
if I hydrate, I still have headaches.
No,
So
as I said,
Yeah.
men and women function differently, and sometimes it's something one diet doesn't fit all. So if it doesn't suit you, you shouldn't be doing it. I don't do intermittent fasting, but I do give my gut a break for 12 to 14 hours, which happens very naturally because I eat very early dinner.
yeah.
So automatically for me it works great and I feel lovely. Also, I feel like a lot of people do intermittent fasting wrong. We are supposed to follow the sun and moon routine, your circadian rhythm, but most people don't. For what people do is they skip breakfast and they eat a heavy dinner, and what happens, they don't sleep well because they feel
food is
heavy,
there.
they feel acidic, their melatonin production is not happening well. So I always tell clients that if you're not able to achieve your goal with intermittent, which was either weight loss or your digestive system or your health, is because you're not following the sun and moon routine.
Okay.
Follow that, where your heaviest meal should be in the morning, first half of the day, because your digestive system works beautifully first half of the day. Especially your lunch should be your heaviest meal, because your Agni is between 12 to 2 the highest, where you can digest food, your metabolism is at its peak. Plus second, you're moving around, right? You're not lying down, right? You're working, you're moving, you're using energy. So your food is getting used for the right purpose. But if you're going to eat a heavy meal at night and sleep on it, you're not helping anyone. Especially not your body.
Okay. So you just said that men and women, we have different body, different kind of gut system and everything. So
No, I feel it's not about the different gut. We are controlled more by
Hormones.
hormones than men.
so
We are
coming
more
to,
steady hormones than
yeah.
us. Let's put it
So coming to hormones, I have a few questions for women that about bloating issues. Now during periods, we also have commonly I've seen that lot of women have upset gut. Why do we have that, and what is the connection between period and gut?
So you need to understand our progesterone and estrogen levels change close to our periods. They are supposed to change. That's how we get our periods, So sometimes to get a small amount of bloat, I notice a lot of people get either diarrhea or constipation closer to periods because the
Correct.
progesterone level changes, and the change in this hormone results into these kind of effects in our body. Now if it is at a minor level, it is okay. If it is happening to a level where it's uncontrollable and not able to be handled, then obviously you need to visit to a gynac and get checked. But if it is happening at a minor level, it can be easily been taken care of. You need to increase, especially bloating can easily be taken care of. You need food which is high in vitamin B6, which
Okay.
or you can take a supplement as well, a small amount. Or magnesium also really helps. So food rich in magnesium can be consumed, and potassium, and one ingredient has all these three. One food is banana. So banana is a
Okay.
great thing to incorporate before you get your periods. It helps with the bloating, it helps with the good gut bacteria, it provides the potassium, so it helps to reduce the bloat.
Can you give few example of food habits during periods? Because I have heard that during periods you should have really light food and not heavy in protein and something that you cannot digest easily.
No, I don't think that's at all true. I think periods at time you can leeway a little, your metabolism is at a better zone.
Okay.
It's okay to get into your cravings.
Okay.
It's okay to feel comfortable. You have whole month to diet. Why do we always take the worst time of our month to
Okay.
think of what to eat? It's okay. It's okay to... I think women are very hard on themselves when it comes to any health issue, when it comes to vanity factor, looks. I think we assume more negative things about ourselves than the world perceives it to be, So I think we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves. A small bite of chocolate, a little bit of indulgence will do no harm. It's just 3 to 4 days. After that, the hormone stabilizes and we can get back to our routine.
Because for me, I get this crazy sugar craving during periods. I don't know why does it happen. If you have an
Again,
explanation.
it's fluctuation of the
Yeah.
hormones.
Yeah.
And also at some, as I said, we are kind of ingrained with certain habits. You know, how we
Yeah.
brush our teeth, सुबह उठकर brush ही करना है.
Yeah.
It's the same way because we see कि सब लोग chocolate खा रहे, सब लोग sweets. Even I can do it. You know?
Yeah.
And because of the fluctuation of hormones, you do feel sometimes a sugar craving. You know, you do feel like eating a little bit more carbs. And as I said, it's okay to indulge.
Yeah.
Don't overindulge. That's the time it's greed. That's gluttony. That's not hormones.
You complete 2 or 3 bars of dark chocolate, right?
No, I need
And
ice
4
cream
or
and
6,
chocolate
mangoes,
and all of that.
That goes in one sitting only.
Yeah. And talking more about women now, women nearing menopause, they also have a lot of bloating issues and creating gas and acidity and all. So why is that, and what can be done?
So, you know, as we get closer to menopause, you know, when you're in our estrogen levels drop. Now, estrogen is our protecting factor. It gave us energy, it protected us from our bones. And once estrogen level starts to drop, is when our bones become fragile, we are more prone to fractures, our mood is less in control, you know. So it is a natural process. Now, again, I feel we read between the lines too much because all the symptoms are very much out there. You know, our parents and grandparents went through, you know, grandmothers went through, our mothers and grandmothers went through perimenopause, menopause so smoothly we didn't even realize कब हुआ है.
Yeah.
Today we want to dig into everything. हाँ,
Yeah.
ये symptom गर्मी लग रही है तो
हाँ.
Heat flash.
you know it's a heat flash, but Bombay is hot. You know, I
So
am
we'll
sweating
relate
right
to that.
now
Yeah.
also. You know, it's hot.
Yeah.
The humidity is high. Everything is not a heat flash or you're getting a hot sorry, everything is not a hot flash. You know, we have taken small symptoms. If you don't remember, brain fog, perimenopause. It's okay. We all go through sometimes, you know, forget things. Yes, I'm not denying they are not the symptoms of, you know, perimenopause or menopause when you're going through that period. But we overthink it, you know. I think sometimes I feel it's okay to keep yourself a little busy. I think it's all the unlimited scrolling, it's the unlimited free time sometimes that we have that we over-assume our symptoms. I think it's better to go to a healthcare provider. It is better to get yourself actually checked. You're in this phase. It's better to actually understand your symptoms far better than assuming. We assume more than we feel, I feel lately.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the graying of the hair? Can we reverse it? Certain food or on the nutritional part that we can include in our diet that can actually help in the premature graying of the hair?
Okay, so one thing is if you're aging and your hair is turning grey, I think the right thing is to accept it that it's one of the courses of life, you know, one of those phases where your hair turns grey. But the problem is if you're young and your hair is graying, and that's when the premature graying comes in. Now, premature graying could be a result of nutritional deficiency, or it is a result of some autoimmune disease, or it could be simply a sign: are you sleeping well? Do you have stress? You know, so there are a lot of causes for it, but what I see is people start popping tablets overnight कि हाँ अभी एक grey बाल आ गया, let's take these 10 supplements.
Yes.
But actually is we have to look at the root cause problem. Now, two factors that actually contribute for providing melanin to your hair, the color, is vitamin B and copper. Now, copper helps in melanin synthesis, which gives you the color to your hair. Now, it's easily, you can add to your diet, you know, cashew nuts and, you know, chickpeas. They are high in copper. Simply drink water, a glass of water in a copper glass, and you can meet your adequate copper requirements. One of my favorite things is hummus. I think it's excellent.
Oh, he
Love
loves
love
it.
It's great for having good luscious hair.
Yeah.
You know, it's loaded with nutrients which all require to have good thick dark hair, you know. The other thing is vitamin B, as I said, especially B12. You know, most Indians have B12 deficiency. And
Yes.
what I see is when you go to show your blood report, you know, if it's between 200, you know, the optimal level is very important. So what people see is 200 to 800, 250. We are okay now, B12. We don't even go to the doctor. It's proper. In order to have good quality hair and avoid premature, your B12 should be 500 to 600. So it should be within optimal level, you know, not just within the level.
Within the
you know what
level.
I'm trying to tell you? And B12 is in animal or animal products, which is your dairy. And if you don't have either of them, then you have to go for fortified products like nutritional yeast. Also, other vitamin B. You know, we have one B12 and there are various other different type of vitamin Bs in our body that we require, you know, and they all help for good hair. So it's important that you have variety of fruits, vegetables in your diet in order, millets, you know, they all provide different type of vitamin Bs which will help to give color to your hair. Now, a very nice recipe, I'll tell you a juice which I like for good hair, that is, you have beetroot, carrot, you add a little bit of ginger, turmeric, pepper, and coconut oil, mix it all together and have that juice, and it will really provide the required boost of nutrients that your hair is lacking. It's a great way to add. Another thing to add would be avla in your diet. It is a very high antioxidant, super easy to purchase, local, pocket friendly, to be a part of your diet. It really helps with good hair and also with good skin, so it can help. Then there is also a very good Chinese remedy, it's your black tea,
Yeah.
to rinse
Black
your
tea.
hair with
Yeah, I love
black tea. It can give natural black color to your hair,
Oh,
without using
really?
dyes if you are going through premature graying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then one of the most old school remedy, which are one of my favorites, is coconut oil. A good quality, cold pressed coconut oil. You add fenugreek and curry powder to it and apply that oil. It really helps to make your hair strong and also, reduce premature graying of your hair.
Okay.
Then one more also, I know I'm saying too many remedies, but these are good remedies to have, is onion juice. Okay, so applying onion juice once a week to your hair is a great way to have also regrow your hair, as well as, and the regrowth of that hair will be good quality, dark hair rather than, premature graying. It will also prevent premature graying. So adding few things like these in your diet, and not to complicate further, I've given, I know, too many options, is making a box full of different seeds. So add flax seeds, chia
Yeah.
seeds, pumpkin seeds, all sunflower seeds. Make and have a tablespoon a day or sprinkle it in your food. It is a boost of nutrients. You name it and it is there in it. It has zinc, it has, iron, it has magnesium, So all these nutrients play a very important role. But coming to it, two most important are B12 and copper. So let's concentrate on that before we do everything else as well.
So before we head to our final round, one last question. I think that answer got lost in the so much communication we have. 5 foods for glowing skin.
Okay, number 1 on my list is, you're all very curious to know, aren't you all? I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a note.
Fine. Number 1 is tomatoes.
I love it.
It
I
has
do
something
too.
called lycopene in it, and it's loaded with antioxidants. Do you know tomato tablets are actually made in order to brighten your skin and create a natural glow, and they're sold at such an expensive price. So tomatoes
Oh.
is number 1, and I'm talking about cooked tomatoes, not raw.
Okay.
They have something called lycopene that will make your skin glow. So do consume them.
Yeah.
Then the next is, which most audience will love, is dark chocolate.
Wow, I love
70%
it.
plus. It has something called flavonoids in
Yeah.
it that helps to glow your skin and improves your skin, but obviously in moderation.
In moderation.
Remember, good quality dark chocolate
How
is
much
what I'm
chocolate?
talking. How much chocolate, huh?
She'll have 2 bars
No,
in one go.
that will not help. Everything in moderation.
Okay.
Small piece is good
Okay,
enough.
okay.
Next in my list would be almonds. It is
Okay.
almonds and avocado both. I would say they are loaded with vitamin E, which naturally moisturizes your skin and gives it that lovely shine.
Yeah.
So they are excellent to include in our diet. I think almonds is one of the first things most people
Yes.
have in the morning.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
a great way to include that. And pomegranate. Oh, pomegranate is loaded with antioxidants. It's any red color fruit is excellent for the skin, and pomegranate would be one of the top 10 in my list for good skin. So
Amazing.
definitely it's good for the gut, it's good for the skin, it helps in collagen production. So a bowl of pomegranate goes a long way.
Yeah.
And lastly, though it's not food, but hydrate.
Hydrate.
Enough water is very important for good skin.
How much?
So it totally depends on person to person, depending on your activity level, but ideally 2 to 3 liters. And one of the best ways to know is when you go to the washroom, please have a look at your urine, and that will tell you the color. If it's very
Clear.
dark yellow, that means you're drinking less water.
Okay.
Out of the 5, we have avocados, almonds,
Everything.
pomegranate. She started after a lot of struggle. She finally started. And hydration, yes, that's
But can I add one more, which
Yeah.
is my
Yes.
favorite? Like I would say, I would rate it the highest.
Okay.
Sleep.
And it's cheap, it's local, Avla, Indian
Oh,
gooseberry.
okay.
It is highest in antioxidants, very high in antioxidants. It is excellent for the gut. It because it's high in vitamin C, it helps in collagen production. Collagen helps with the firmness, tightness, smoothness of your skin. So it is one of the most beautiful things to include in the diet.
So one question, like amla, how? Like there are two versions.
Raw?
Like they salted amlas are there,
No,
then
no,
the
they're actual
murabbas,
avla.
the
Yeah.
Raw
the-
wala.
Yeah,
huh?
you take them, chew them, and eat them. One avla a day keeps your skin glowing for life.
Beautiful.
So with that, we have come to the end of this podcast. We have a little game, fun game, rapid fire. It's called Myth or Not. So you just have to
Okay.
say myth or not. If you want to add a little, it's okay.
I'll always add a little.
This round is about myth or not, a rapid fire segment where you have to say if the following sentences are myth or not. First is drinking lemon water on an empty stomach improves gut health.
Yes, having lemon water on empty stomach can improve gut health. It is high in potassium, which helps to reduce the bloat. But it's not more than the lemon, it's actually the water that helps.
Gluten is bad for everyone.
Myth. Unless you have celiac disease or you have gluten intolerance, gluten can be very much part of the diet. It provides good fiber and also other nutrients which are good for the gut.
Amazing.
Okay, you can't improve your gut without supplements.
Myth, you can definitely improve your gut without supplements by including fermented food and variety of different fruits and vegetables.
Okay. Does eating spicy food cause acne, or this is just a myth?
It is a myth because spicy food
Wow, I love it.
does not directly cause acne. It may cause inflammation in your gut,
Okay.
which can result into acne. So it's not the spice, it's how your body reacts basically.
Okay. So if you have a bad gut, then
Can poor gut health actually makes your skin look dull and tired?
Yes, that's true. As if your bad bacteria exceeds the good bacteria, then your skin is dull. It creates inflammation in your body, which can result into acne and boils.
okay. Do probiotics really help with clearer skin and better digestion?
Yes, it does. As it improves the gut, the good bacteria increases. It improves the skin texture, the glow, as well as reduces inflammation in the body.
Great.
Is it true that people who sleep late will always struggle with acne and bad skin?
So this is not inherently true or false because obviously if you do not sleep on time and you sleep late, it can cause a havoc with your hormones as well as your digestive system. But however, if when you're awake and you actually eat right food, hydrate and reduce sugar, then your gut lining can still be kept safe.
Okay. So it was amazing to have you here. I mean, we couldn't stop talking, but of course we have time limitation. We want to know more, but we are so enlightened with every information that you shared, and I'm sure our audience too
Yes.
is enlightened. So if our audience have any question, they can leave a comment. But yeah,
No, my team did promise me, Anuj, whatever the questions you have still left, we'll do a 2.0 with Neha and save these remaining questions for the next time. Too much of information in this podcast. There's so much we
Yeah.
have taken from this
No,
podcast.
thank you for having me. I had such a good time and you all had such insightful questions to ask me. I wish we could go on for a couple of hours more.
Yeah.
But I think we all have a deadline and we have to cut this short.
thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Neha.
Thank you.
Bye.